We have a liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome, everybody. It is another episode of Authentically You Podcast. I'm excited tonight, but before we get this thing underway, we got to make sure that you are sharing with your friends and your family. So do me a favor. We are live on Instagram. We are live on YouTube, and we are live on Facebook. So I want you to do me a favor. If you are watching tonight, we're going to have a good show. I think we're going to have a real transparent show. If y'all see I'm all smiles, it's because I'm excited about tonight's guest. And I'm excited because whenever we have a guest on the Authentically You podcast, we want you to know that this is a transparent place. This is a safe place. And this is a place where we're going to learn a lot. You know, you might learn something biblical. You might learn something practical. You might learn something educational. Whatever it is, you're going to learn it. And tonight, I'm excited for the guests that we have. Do me a favor and go ahead and share. How do I share, Duane? I'm glad you asked. On Instagram, it's so simple. You go where the paper airplane is. You hit that paper airplane. Y'all know the one that y'all used to throw at each other's back at each other's head and say, hey, check the box. Do you like me? Yes, no, or maybe. Hit that box and share it out to everyone that you know. Number two, if you're watching from Facebook, all you got to do is go to the bottom of Facebook and hit the share button, and it'll go right over to your page. And so then you can join us as well as if you are watching by YouTube. It is so simple. On YouTube, all you got to do is go over and hit it on YouTube and share the link. All right. So we're going to get this thing going. We're going to get this thing moving. Let me make sure I see that we are live on Facebook, but let me make sure that the audience is set to. Oh, that's why. There we go. Change. It is now set to public. There we go. So we are up on Facebook. I wonder now if all of my lives were doing that. If they were, there we go. So Bishop Elect, you should be able to see it now on my Facebook page and be able to share it. Yeah, social media world, sometimes you forget the tricks of the trade and you look up and realize like, wow, it was not yep, it happened on all the joints. It happened on all of the broadcasts. So now I have to just remember to go and set it to public because it was showing only me. There we go. Well, we figured that out really quickly. Now we got to change. Now we're gonna be even better. Yeah. Wow. So it did it on all my broadcasts. All right. So we'll worry about that later. Let's bring the guest to the stage. He is a pastor. He is a 9 to 5 worker. Okay. He's not full-time ministry. He has a profession by trade. He is a husband to 1 wife. He is a father to 3 children and so many more within his parameters of leading church. He is, I mean, there's so many titles I can give him. He is my pastor, my friend, my brother, all of those wonderful things that I call him. And so I have none other tonight than the one and only, hailing from Philadelphia by way of Delaware. Y'all help me put your hands together for Bryant Knight. No. Y'all help me put your hands together for the one and only Brian Keith Knight is with us.
Hey, wow. Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction, my brother.
The only thing we haven't added yet was the author piece yet.
Yeah, I've authored, first of all, I have authored several papers and dissertations. I just haven't put it into a book form.
we need you to put it into a book form.
Yes.
We need you to put it into a book form. All right. Well, I love that. First, like we always do, before we get into any serious conversations, I see our Transformation Worship family is in the building. Thank you for joining. IG family, I see y'all in the building. Do me a favor tonight. If you're watching, do me a favor and drop what city you are watching from. Drop where you are watching from. I see so many different people who are watching tonight from Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. So thank y'all for jumping in. How you feeling today? How are you feeling?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good right now.
Okay.
See what kind of questions you're going to ask me to determine what I'm going to be feeling later.
Are you nervous?
Not at all.
Okay, I was about to say, ain't no need to be nervous. You can handle this. You've handled this in our men's sessions when we've had so I know you are prepared
Yes.
to handle every question that is thrown your way. I'm just excited tonight to know now why I was not projecting live because it was set on the wrong parameters. And so now I'm glad we can fix that. And so everyone can get in. All right. First, before we start, let's do this. How are you going to define? We always got to start with like a lightning game or something before we get into the heavy stuff. All right. Tell me, how would you define family?
Wow. For me, family is really rooted in the way I grew up as a child. I grew up in a 2-parent home where
shout out to the family.
Yeah, well, I grew up in a 2-parent home where we always ate dinner together. So that was family to me. Family is brothers and sisters fighting each other, arguing.
Absolutely.
Family is hearing your parents fuss. Family
who won most of the fights
between the brothers and sisters.
Yeah,
it all depends on it all depends on who you're talking to.
I thought you was going to claim to be the winner. I thought you was going to say I'm the winner. This your time to shine, so you can say it.
There is a high possibility that some of them are watching. I gotta be very careful, in that process of what I say.
I love it.
But
I love it.
yeah, so family is love. Family is not always getting along. So it's very diverse.
Yeah.
For me. Family is you can say something, the wrong thing, and somebody gonna fight for you.
Yeah.
That's family. Family is being at the family gathering, and you are the individual that everybody's telling jokes about.
Yeah.
And you better not cry, you better not leave, you better take it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that all of that is family to me. Having gatherings at the house, whether it's a cookout, whether it's celebration of a holiday, all of that it encapsulates family. It's love. And so that's how I've always seen family and tried to bring that to this family that I've been trying to establish on my own within my own life.
Yeah. Let's jump in right there since you defined it that way. Tell me challenges in the family and when I say in the family, I'm just talking all the way around the board. It could be immediate, mom, dad, whatever. How do you handle challenges when they arise? I know you've personally told your story before about having kids that you were adopted or wanted to adopt, and you faced challenges there. But tell me, what are some challenges that you really had to deal with in family, and then how did you navigate that space and make it become, at least to a better resolve?
So, I'm definitely going to share my narrative of it. I'm not confident that some of them would agree with me.
Listen. Tonight, let's establish this early. This is your
all right.
segment.
It
If
is.
they
That's
want
right.
a segment,
I want to give the disclaimer.
yeah, no.
So,
This is your segment. You got to tell it from your view.
So let me give you this progression. So I believe that I'm always been the more of the middleman when it comes to family. I think that I've always had the ability to either try to attempt at some level to negotiate and kind of see the best in everything. And so I've also been that part of the family where I don't have to be right. Now, they may not think that way, but I don't have to be right. And so that's one thing that's helped me to remain at some level of balance. Now, when it comes to my family at home and how I navigate challenges, I've learned not to be a reactionary person, but I've learned to be one that processes that information and find out what am I to learn through this. So you kind of brought up the fact that there was a time in my life where my wife and we were raising two children that we did not birth biologically, but we were in the process of adoption. And within the course of, I would say, based off a lie, from the time that lie was told, in less than 24 hours, we lost two of our children. That has left a indelible mark upon our lives.
Hey, watch how you raise your hand. This AI stuff is weird, and it was throwing up the balloons for you.
Yes, I just saw that. And losing two children that you felt in your life at that time was your future. Was truly something that I had to really process and really go through in life, because I lost the children based off a lie. And then to be charged, to have to go. I was always when my family came out of JBM, and
what's JBM? Tell us what
JBM
that is.
Is called Junior Black Mafia.
Okay.
And my family
just
came
in case
out.
Nobody don't know. I know everybody knows you wholly. They don't know the other side of your family.
I always took pride in and not being able to go the route that they went. So in this process of losing my children, I was humbled because I had to go to jail. I had to be fingerprinted. I had to do the camera shot where they took my face this way and turned my face this way and turned my face this way. I had to sit in a cell for a period of time. And so I think during that process, for me, I had all type of emotions and feelings and all types of anxiety that was coming at me. during that time. However, when I first got out of college, I created this statement, and the statement was, "The vision is greater than the circumstance."
Yeah, let's
And
go.
so I allowed that statement, that thing to really speak to me during those moments and times, and I just processed it. It was not comfortable, it was not easy, but I asked myself this question: what am I to learn from this? What am I to get from this, so that I don't respond in a way that's irresponsible?
Hold on, pause there. Don't
So
move from there. Pause there, because I wanna address something that you said when you said, "Hey, my family was here, and I allowed myself to go a different process." And then when I kind of had to go through some of the processes that they did, made me look at some things. So when you were going through life and you're like, "Hey, man, I'm an upstanding guy," or were you holding your chest out? Did you feel some kind of gratification from not having to take certain processes, maybe like cousins and friends?
so
Like how did you even get to that point of not falling into some of the snares or some of the issues
yeah.
that may have arose at that time?
So for me, it was twofold. I had a father in my home, and my father was a strong, well, he still is, although he's getting older now. His name, shout out to Big Izzy. My father
My
was a really
God.
strong, my father was a strong man, and he had a certain presence where he was not going to allow but so much to come into his house.
Yeah.
On top of that, I was in the church. So my family that was out there, most of them did not have those two things in their home. So I think that's very important to say. I had a father, and I was in the church, and I'm one that's loyal. I'm one that is committed and one that's dedicated, and so that kept me. But there was a little pride. There was a little part of me was like, yeah, I ain't go through that because of this. This didn't happen to me because of this, and God used that situation to humble Bryant
Mm.
at some point, to humble Bryant, to let him know that even in the most quote unquote, what you may call the best circumstances, there is yet some obstacles or hindrances or struggles that you're going to face regardless of how you grew up. And I grew up with good parenting. I grew up with good structure. I grew up with those things. But, based off that lie, my life was impacted. Now, I will share with you now, that lie, hear me out, that lie has shifted my life in such a way it has impacted me toward greatness. So when you talk about all things working together for the good, it's nice to quote until you go through the bad. It's nice to quote until you're dealing with an experience that is very challenging. And when I say challenging, I'm speaking specifically when God does something to literally dismantle what you have thought to be your future. I call it when God break your legs. I call it when God disrupt your future. I call it when God decides I'm going to be sovereign since I'm God. It's your
Yikes.
turn. In other words, I'll say it like this: when God says it's my turn to be sovereign in your life,
Wow.
I'm getting ready to give you something that you can't handle, and you're going to go through it.
Wow.
And I don't need your permission to put you in it because you're going to go through it. And so
Wow.
to lose those two children in that time frame, the reason why I say it was probably one of the most blessed moments of my life is because it shifted me into an area of understanding, humility, and ministry that had I not went through it, I wouldn't be as effective as I am today.
Hold on. So stay there. You bring this up. We're in family, and we'll jump over the ministry because I need to know how you manage some of these ministry woes. But let's stay here in family. You're dealing with this. What kind of effects would some of this stuff that you're dealing with have on the internal piece of your family? Meaning, what kind of effects is it causing on your marriage and your children and around the household? And then how are you managing that and then devising a plan to really move forward from those things that kind of exist in the moment?
I think the first way is just we had to have conversations, a lot of dialogue, a lot of what my wife and I was feeling, and not just my wife. I'm talking about my other immediate family, my siblings, my parents. They got close to our children. They were family, and so we had to recognize that we were not the only people hurting.
Yeah,
they were hurting too. And so I think the important part in that navigation was having the proper conversations about what you were feeling. One thing about my wife and I, we never attacked each other. We never blamed each other.
Yeah.
We prayed about it. We walked through it together. There was a lot of pain, but we walked through it together. And I'll say this, that it was honorable even for my wife, because I had the opportunity and the platform to constantly share my story. So as I was going through it, I was able to share it. My wife, because she wasn't on that level of platform, she didn't always have the opportunity to share it. And so to some degree, it was some unfairness, because now, she never want to make me look like I'm the bad guy. She never make like, well, Brian didn't tell that story right. This is what kind of happened. Not that I was stretching anything, but she didn't want to make it seem like, she was this bad person.
Yeah.
But she has a story in this as well. And I'm looking forward to one day her being able to share her pain.
Yeah.
Of the process of losing both our children, because I'm the one that's always talking about it. I'm the one, I preach about it. I do it everywhere I go to minister.
You share.
I talk about it because I need
you share.
to know.
You have no problem with it.
I'm gonna probably, so I want people to know what it is, because that was a major, major, major loss in our lives, especially when, as a parent, you begin to build and begin to hope with a future in mind that this is going to be in your life, and to be taken away off a lie.
Yeah.
That's not that process is very difficult.
I'm interested. Like, did the kids feel some level of effect? Did they express it?
Remember, they were too young.
Was they like, man, I'm happy that they got more attention to me?
So the kids were too young. You're talking about these would have been my middle children.
Gotcha.
Bryce, my youngest child at that time was just Bryce. My wife was pregnant with Brielle, so the only child that could recognize anything was Benjamin, and at that time he was about 5 or 6 years old.
Gotcha.
So we worked with him, and it took a village, and so it was our village that was there to process with him, to understand kind of what was happening, and we kind of had the conversation with him. Hey, your brother and sister, unfortunately, Benjamin, they've been taken away, and you're not going to see them no more.
Gotcha.
And so that's kind of what we kind of went from there. But the rest, Bryce was like 9 or 10 months, so he wouldn't have had a clue
what was going on.
And Brielle wasn't here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I wasn't here. Yes.
No, that makes sense. I mean, I love this conversation already, because what people don't understand is trials and tribulations have no code of ethic.
Oh, no, it don't. Not mine anyway.
No, I mean, I don't think anybody's. I can share my own story, but that ain't the time now. I'm the host. But trials and tribulations don't have an ethic code. They don't have a color code. They don't have a economic code. It is strictly that when it's kind of your time to kind of suffer a little bit, it's your time and your turn.
Can I share this? Because
come on, please.
And because I'm from what they call the old school, right?
Yeah.
At that time, my mother and my aunt, we knew her as Pastor Davis of Bishop. They came to the house. They didn't give me no sympathy. It wasn't no, oh baby, they hugging me, it's gonna be all right, and they crying with me. No, they was like, it's your turn to go through. You're going, you got it. We put enough in you. You can get through this. You can go through this. And so I was built differently. Now, of course, we don't train people that way today.
Right.
But I was built differently. I grew up with the principles of struggling.
Yeah.
I grew up with the principles how to go through storms and how to go through difficulties of life. I grew up with those principles. So now it's like, it's time to manage this, what I taught you. You know how in the scriptures where Paul tells Timothy, stir up the gift, which was placed in you. And so I had to stir that gift up. Not that I couldn't have any feelings, not that I couldn't have any emotions, not that I could not have a fit. But after you have your fit, put on your garments, pull yourself together, and go through this. There's something at the end that you have to learn as you're going through this process. And so I've taken that for almost every situation I go through. I try not to respond from a sense of being reactionary, but I try to respond from a place of, God, is this a lesson you taking me through? What am I to learn from it? How am I to deal with it? And so that's one of those things that challenged me in my life is those. I would say that.
Let's talk about this. I love all the answers, and we got just a few more questions to get in because I got some heavy hitters now.
Okay.
I know how long you've been pastoring. You tell the people how long you've been pastoring.
Well, officially or unofficially?
Unofficially and officially. Give us both.
Unofficially, I've been pastoring since I was 5 years old. Unofficially, I've been.
I love it.
I can look at any period of my life, and God has used me in the functionality.
Before you go off, give us these years because I know you get ready to go. How many years have you been pastoring officially?
Officially pastoring 15 years.
15 years.
Yes.
In your 15 years of pastoring, and here's what you can share, and I want you to go as deep as you can go. In 15 years of pastoring, how have you dealt with heartbreak in those 15 years?
So
what are some things that you do to deal with heartbreak? Because the reality of it is that we're human. This assignment is given to us by God, and our humanity and our divinity will meet each other at the crossroads. How do you deal with those things? Because I got a follow-up question for you. How do you deal with those things? Let's start there.
I'll be honest with you. One of the I would say one of the greatest heartbreaks I had in ministry, and this heartbreak I will share with you is that I think in my spirit, no one will ever be able to break my heart again off of this experience. Was when one of our brothers, who I still love dearly, left the faith. The challenge, the emotions, the feelings that was inside of me, that rose inside of me, the uncertainty, the wrestling.
What was the uncertainty about? What was the uncertainty about?
Because I was there when I saw the transformation of his life. And when he rejected Christ, there was also a personal rejection. I saw a shift in our relationship. I began to kind of do retrospect, and I saw how there were some shifts in the relationship that I just didn't know was there. And he and I were very, very, very close. And so for the first time in my life, I think that I was able to recognize grief in such a way that it existed more than just somebody physically dying and we're putting in the grave. I grieve.
Wow.
I grieve the loss of a brother. I grieve the loss of a friend. I grieve the loss of having intimate relationship. When I say intimate, I'm not talking about nothing sexual. But I'm talking.
We know. Thank you for clearing that up. The internet is wild.
And this brother was brother knew things. I knew things about him. He was transparent with me. And to lose that as a pastor, I had to really retreat within myself and relearn some stuff.
Did you feel like you failed?
A part of me, yes, because there was a time when I was very hard.
Yeah.
And when I say hard, not unreasonable, but I was hard. And so sometimes you feel like, well, the thing, and it wasn't that I was too hard, but most people will come and say, because of the relationship, bro, I don't want to let you down.
Mm.
And so I'm always like, but I don't want you to feel that way. You can always come with anything, but because we built such a relationship, it was almost like, I don't want to let you down. I don't want you to feel like I'm a failure. I don't want you to feel like I'm struggling or I'm wrestling with these issues and things like that. And so that's kind of what happened. I always blame me first.
Wow.
Because you always want to find out, is it something I could have done differently? How could I have prevented this?
Mm.
You ask those questions. And so losing him has been a process. Am I over it? I think yes and no. I've accepted it. There are some things that are still yet processing.
Yeah.
But even in that, literally, that was a pivotal moment in my life where the Lord was able to introduce me to another level of ministry that I never even saw before.
Yeah. What was that level?
That level was dealing with urban apologetics.
I love it. And
so,
you felt like you got into urban apologetics so that you can understand.
Yep. A lot of that situation, not all of it, but a lot of that situation was the door opening for me to go into apologetics. Because what happened was this: in holiness movement and Pentecostal movement, this was something that many of us were not introduced to.
Wow.
We saw it more from our Baptist brothers and sisters, but not in the more holiness movement. I'm not saying it wasn't there, but in my circles, it did not exist.
Gotcha.
And so I became a forerunner. I became a proponent for urban apologetics within a scope of holiness Pentecostalism, so that we could begin to really train and teach our pastors and leaders, in particular our young Black men, how to rightly have dialogue and conversations when your faith is being challenged, when you're wrestling with doctrines and you're wrestling with thoughts, and you can understand how was the Bible created and all these things, because there's so many anti-Christ movements that have come against it. All it takes is for you to go through one trial and it seems like God's not doing the way you asked him to do it. It opens the door for the entrance of it. You go into, at that time, any barbershop you went into, they were playing videos that was anti-Christ. And so all the shouting, all the dancing is great, but at the end you had to sit down and do some sound teaching.
Yeah.
And so it's not that teaching didn't exist as well. It's the fact that in this area, it was not at the level that it is now. And so this opened the door for me to go heavy into it. And I became an apologist, and because I loved my brother, I wanted to win him back over. I wanted to show him that the way that he was going, we had some answers. However, I'm not going to share that part, that we did have some answers.
No. But what I love and what I'm hearing is the fact that every time you had to grow, you grew for the sake of growing what God put in front of you. So let's just dive into this just a little bit, because our time is almost up and I want to make sure we're still on time. And I want to ask you just more questions. But when you talk about growing yourself, how have you been able to grow yourself while growing ministry, while developing family?
Wow. So I think the first part is you have to give yourself permission to not be stuck into a certain time zone. So I think my first true development of growth happened in college. I went away. College helped me to mature and to see things differently. So I think one aspect of growth is that you got to get out of where you are and see other things. That helped me. That gave me principles to not judge people, but to look beyond what I see and to find something good in people. So that's one part. For me, it also was giving myself permission to change and be okay to change. It's okay not to be the same person in complete wholeness that I was 10 years ago, because I'm constantly evolving. And so who I was in 2020 is far more not who I am right now. You know, I've grown. Now there's a part of me that's going to always be the same, but I'm developing, I'm growing. There was a time I was heavily into young people. I still love young people, but I have now been thrusted into another area. And so I've been shifted into doing more when it comes to men, and when it comes to building and training and development. That's where my expertise has fallen more into. It's not that I can't deal with the other part, but I've grown in that area. As a husband, I've grown. We are constantly evolving as people. And so to suggest that I still have to be the same Bryant, or I'm that same person with the same desires and wants when I got married, I'm going to say the year of 2000. Most of y'all probably was doing whatever y'all was doing.
You got married in what?
In the year
2000. Oh, that's
yes.
like around the corner.
Yeah, 24 years.
I thought you was gonna say 1956. Feels like I've been together.
I wasn't born in 1950. I wouldn't know what was going on then. But I've evolved. And so I think we have to give ourselves permission to change and be okay with change.
Yeah.
Not get stuck into a paradigm or into a box that only fits a current time period. And so that has helped me, giving myself permission, letting myself know it's okay, while still setting some level of boundaries. I've always been one that set boundaries, you know, but I want to grow. Yeah. So it's giving myself permission to change. It's challenging myself. It's having a level of accountability, meaning you have to have mentors around you that's going to coach you to better. You have to allow people to speak into you that can see things inside of you that you don't see in yourself, and allow them to pull it out of you, because it takes a village to make it happen. And so that's what God has done with me. And when it comes to family, friends, I've just given myself permission to allow those things to happen for me. And it's made me a better person. People see this version of Bryant now, and they say, oh my God, it's this. But the process of me getting here has been a complete journey. I'm not the same person that I was before.
Who do you say you are right now? If you had to describe yourself, who would you say that you are? Shout out, I saw before you answer, I saw Bishop get on. So shout out to Bishop Liston Page. I saw your mom get on. Shout out to my favorite delegate in Baltimore City. Delegate Jackie Addison is watching. She said, yes, this is good. And of course, all of my other sisters and brothers are watching tonight, but I just wanted to give those special shout outs. Who would you say you are right now? Right? If you had described Bryant, who is Bryant right now? What do you say you are? Use as many adjectives, adverbs that you want to use. This is your time to, let your humility down and describe yourself. Who are you?
First, I'm a black man.
Let's go.
Black man.
I love it.
I'm a son. I'm a father. I'm a friend. I'm a husband. I'm a lover. I'm a mentor.
Wow.
I'm a coach. I'm a team player. I am a safe place.
Wow.
I'm a place of confidentiality.
Wow.
I'm a builder of people.
Wow.
I'm a lover.
We know the lover part. I was going to say, if you didn't name that, I was going to name that piece.
So listen, I'm a lover of souls, mind, and a body.
Yeah.
You get catch my drift?
Oh, I've been caught your drift. I'm with you. Let's go.
I am mentally aware of my surroundings. I'm in tune. I'm in touch. I'm a friend to many. I am, how can I put it? I'm a liaison.
I like that word.
I'm a bridge.
Yes.
I'm a mediator.
Yes.
I'm a counselor.
Now, when I told you to describe yourself, you gave a whole lot, but I'm just gonna add one.
Okay.
And a thorn in your mama's flesh.
Well,
you know I gotta mess with you. You know I gotta mess with you.
that's okay.
You know I gotta mess with you.
No,
I know that she loves you. Shout out to your mom. That's
if
why
I'm a thorn in her flesh,
yes.
then y'all pray for her.
Don't pray for you. Pray for her, right?
Pray for her.
Pray for her.
Because God's going to tell her that His grace is sufficient. That's what God's going to tell my mother. His grace.
Oh man. Don't mess with my mama like that. oh God, that's funny. Oh look, we this has been good. We're coming to the end. I just got a few more questions here, and I think you've been doing good. One of the things I want to publicly shout you out for is the ability to galvanize men. Oftentimes in social media, people will get excited, and please know I'm not digging the shovel here. I'm just stating, right? Just stating some statements. People will get excited when they see some of their favorite preachers teaming up and being together and vacationing together, and that's a wonderful thing. Who am I to say the reasons for why they do and why they don't? I'm not. But one of the things that I can say about you is that you organically and genuinely bring men together, like organically and genuinely bring men together. Where did the birthing of that come from? Like, what was the sense of urging that you was like, man, you know what? I need to bring men together. Because I mean, I'm a witness. And the young people say pause. Y'all know what that word means. I don't need to give y'all no backsplash on that word, but pause. You brought men together, and we've done life together. You understand what I'm saying? We've done life together. Where did that birthing, where did that urge come from? And why did it come, and what made it come?
Wow. So several places. I think the first place, I'll name maybe 5. I've always saw growing up a collective community of men. Always saw it. So the images of men coming together was always something that I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah.
So what people see today, it's a byproduct of that. It's a byproduct of my own insecurities as a man.
Yeah.
As a young boy.
That's good. Hold on. That's good. It's the byproduct of.
Yes, it's a byproduct of that community. It's also a byproduct of my insecurities.
I love this.
What I've tried to become to men is what I never got. Because I was the seasoned guy, I was the church boy, as they called me. Some tried to say that I was my mother's favorite child, and even my grandma's favorite child. I was told by some.
I mean, you were until I came along, but I understand.
Well, we'll have those conversations later. I was always called.
Yeah.
And so in the calling based on rejection, I experienced a lot of insecurities. So what I did not receive from men based off my own pride, I think when I look in retrospect, most of it based off my own pride, I try to become that for men. I believe in brotherhood because I see it in scriptures. I see it and how it is. So God gave me this passion, a strong passion to want to bring men together.
Yeah.
The interesting part is this, and I just shared this conversation with a person, actually with 2 of my pastors on Monday. I said, what people see today is the manifestation of seeds that were planted back in 1994, 1996,
yeah,
and 1997.
Talk, man.
In the year 2000.
Yes, sir.
That you see all this now, but the process of what it took to get there, it took almost 20 years to make it happen.
Yeah. Come on.
And so that's called consistency. That's called not giving up. That's called being fervent. And hear me out. Every brother that I've ever been in contact with, and this is no trying to pump Bryant up, they respect me highly.
Yeah.
To this day, I can call any of them, and for the most part, they'll do anything for me.
Yeah.
Because of that relationship. So that has been the thing for me. I wanted to build men in the area that I wasn't built in. On top of seeing what I saw as a child, and not just in my community that I grew up in, but also my church. But I saw the power of what happens when men come together. And so I knew what it was in high school to feel like you didn't belong as a man or as a young child growing. And I wanted no one to feel or to sense that. So I try to become those things for men. And the process, God began to really cause that gift to cause people to attract to me. But at the same time, as much as I was helping them, hear me out, they were sharpening me in ways they could never imagine.
Ooh, this is good.
You know what I'm saying? They were making me better. They were training me. They were developing me. They were opening my mind to understand more of what manhood was about. And so each individual, each man cave, each discussion, each challenge, it was a learning tool and my opportunity to say, Brian, if you embrace it, you'll grow. If you embrace it, you'll grow. And here's the part is that I've learned it works. So when people don't understand Brian, right, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's okay because you're not supposed to fully understand me. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to. Just respect the gift of the work that you see. And when you do that, you'll see things differently. And so God has done it. Right now, I'm seeing the impact of this that I've never seen before in the area of men. Even what you're talking about, bringing men together. And I'm gonna stop on this part. Our goal this year is not 100 plus men. Our goal is to figure out how can we impact 200 men. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? So we're gonna do our best to make that happen, present that happen in a form that's going to be comfortable, that's going to be safe for men.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. I think you gave me my flowers early on when you said, would you say you learn from?
I saw you smiling, and all excited. Listen, man, I learn from everybody. So that
I love it.
Let me give Duane some flowers now. He wants to hear it, right? He wants to hear it. Duane, as much as he's a pain, he's a pain, right? I've learned a lot from you.
No. We thank you. You don't have to.
I do because I want you to hear it. All right. I've learned a lot.
I must be about to go see Jesus if you're giving me these flowers. Lord, don't take me now.
I've learned a lot from you. I think that you can never be a one-way person.
Yeah.
Sure. You have to be open. So there's no relationship that is Brian is the only person giving.
Yeah.
No, that's not relationship. Yeah. There has to be reciprocation. There has to be going back and forth. That's what makes it beautiful. That's what makes it loving. That I get something from you. We both bring something to the table.
For sure.
We can do a lot of stuff and what we don't like about each other. But you get nowhere with that. That's the problem with our communities. Agreed. We focus so much on what we don't like. We can't move. We can't progress forward because we spend too much time on the negative and not on the positive. Not saying we can't deal with those things, but we spend too much energy and time and work don't get done. And so I'm a worker. I'm a person that wants to see production. I want to see results happen, and so I can learn, man. Listen, they taught me this. Now I'll shut up and you ask the next question.
Yeah,
One
this
of
is
the
our
great.
last question coming up.
I'll share this. I remember as a kid, we had a street meeting, and just in case y'all know what street meeting is, we had church outside.
Come
Okay?
on. Come on.
And
Hey, you
I
know my
remember,
home church
yeah, we
lived
stood all the time. And I remember one of my
in
mentors
street meeting.
at that time, it was Elder Robert Bussey, was preaching in the street meeting, having the service, and there was a drunk that came past the church.
Hold on, did y'all have the bullhorn or did y'all have mics?
I think they had all of it.
Oh my,
They had it all. They had it
y'all
all.
was prepared.
A drunk came past the church, and I was playing the bongos. They praising God. The drunk took the bongos,
Yeah.
and he began to play them with tears in his eyes.
Wow.
And he showed me how to play the bongos properly. I'll never forget that. That is forever ingrained in my spirit, that anybody can teach you something.
Wow.
There's a bum on the street through a street meeting that taught me how to play the bongos.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy. You know, that goes back to your point of just being okay with learning from everybody, or at least learning from the people that's around you, because maybe everybody is a far-fetched, right? But learning from the people around you. I want to attack this last question because I think it's going to be beneficial to all of those who are still watching. I mean, a great deal of people that are still with us, and we're coming to the close here. We danced around it a little bit, but the insecurity piece. How have you been able to three-part recognize your insecurity, kind of tell yourself this is what your insecurities is, and then deal with your insecurities?
Well, my insecurity came from rejection.
Ooh.
So rejection was the seed of my insecurity.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm a witness to it because I didn't have it until I was rejected. You understand what I'm saying? So that's kind of what made me insecure as a person. I lived with insecurity, that particular insecurity, for about 7 to 8 years.
Wow.
I existed, but I still lived with it. I did not believe in the image of what I wanted to become. People saw it. I just didn't see it because I kept grabbing hold to the root of my rejection.
Wow.
So when I finally got rejected again in another area, I had to make a decision that I have to uproot this. I didn't want to live in this image of I'm not good enough. You know what I'm saying? And so when I graduated, when I overcame it, when I triumphed from it, I became a little vain, I should say. Not to a point where I was overbearing. You ask me today how I look. I am a sexy chocolate brother. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I can tell you this. You know, I know that you are committed to being healthy because, you know, you called me the other day talking about I'm on my walk. I said, where you walking to?
Yeah,
so I know you are committed to being in shape. So I love it. Come on, you're a sexy.
So I'm a sexy brother. I'm intelligent. I'm smart. I'm a good man. And I realized this, and through me working with other men, this is what I realized, because I think I had some false realities in my head.
Yeah,
I had images of perfection that was not perfect. And it was not until I was able to sit down with men who I assumed, hear me out, who I assumed had no struggle, had it together, was perfect. When I saw their brokenness, I didn't identify with Bryant. You're not by yourself.
Wow.
You went through it just a little more differently. And sometimes who you thought had it going on, they looked at you and they thought you had it
going on.
You know what I'm saying? But two broken people looking through a distorted lens.
Yeah.
And what happens is it's not until there's a connection where you realize, wow,
light bulb.
No, I'm broken, but I don't have to be. because I keep comparing myself. I keep aligning myself to a inappropriate image that has not been designed by God.
Mm.
And so when I got over that, man, I haven't seen, ear haven't heard. You know what I'm saying? I knew then I could have whatever I wanted, whoever I wanted, whenever I wanted.
Come on, man.
Confidence. And I found out that sometimes my lack came from I lack confidence. And so no one wants a person who's not confident.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I learned confidence, not being overconfident, but I learned confidence. So that has been it for me. And then just allowing people to speak over my life.
Yeah. Man, I love this.
To get me out those pits. That's kind of what it is. And so when you walk in that, it's a freedom. Now I'll share this with you now. I make sure I keep myself together now. I'm gonna speak in proper English, but I get a haircut every week. You're gonna,
I love this.
And I tell the men, and this is a witness, I tell those men who are around me, you can't be around me and not be groomed.
Yeah.
Because the lack of grooming, it could be a trigger.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go back there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be around me, keep your hair cut.
Yeah.
Be neat and presentable.
Yeah.
And that's also teaching you how to become a better man as well. So yeah.
Man, I love this conversation tonight. Y'all do me a favor really quickly. We're about to get out of here. Our time is almost up. I can't wait till we drop the small nuggets of this interview because it's going to be amazing. Shout out to my team. I got a one-person team. Shout out to my wife who does all of the graphics and does all of the videos and like, man, woman, salute to you. All right, salute to you. But we want to grow that team though.
Didn't I tell you to have a woman in your life that can build your dream?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody said, please keep your hair cut. Man, you had people over on IG. I'm just seeing some of the comments. Someone said when we were talking about what do you offer, someone said he offers troublemaker too. I love this. Y'all, this has been phenomenal. Listen, I want y'all to make sure that you are here with us next week. I got one of the pastor's brothers coming next week. My man Evan Risher is coming to the podcast. Right, and I can't wait to talk to him because we're gonna dig into some stuff. We're gonna dig into it. I love these authentically you moments. It's a time that you hear people's testimonies. It's a time you hear people's stories. It's a time that you hear where people come from, how they think, what they've been through. This is why this was created. Once again, I ain't digging on nobody else stuff, but we got enough people telling you false images and false perceptions. We need some people that's telling you some real stuff. Everyday people who live in an everyday life trying to do everything the best way they can. And that's what this podcast is all about. And so, yeah, you will have some faces you will have some faces you don't know, but all of it is to gear you and push you in the right direction for where God really wants to take you, right? These conversations are practical, spiritual, educational, and it's all to push you where God wants you to be. Before we get out of here, do me a favor. Would y'all throw up some hearts in the comments? This is how we always end. I'm going to always end with throwing up hearts for our guests. Like, comment some hearts. I know you can press it on Facebook and Instagram, but I want y'all to comment some hearts. I don't know what happened to my comment section here on Facebook. I see y'all commenting, but I don't see it popping up in my queue, but it's okay. It's going to be there for the replay to check, but throw up some hearts. Come on. I see y'all doing it. Instagram, Facebook. Thank you so much for the hearts. Come on, throw up some hearts. Thank y'all. I see y'all throwing up hearts. Comment some hearts. That's how we're going to go out of here with some love for everybody. I can't wait to have I don't know if my big sister will ever come on the podcast, but I want her to come on and talk about community and what the community looks like. She's been serving the community for years. Shout out to Delegate Addison. She's been serving, and I want to have so many different people come on and talk stories because I think it's time for us to really grow, and we got to hear from people who really got their feet in the ground and just digging the ground. Thank y'all for the hearts showing love. Instagram, I see y'all showing love. YouTube, I see y'all showing love. Facebook, I see y'all showing love. Thank y'all for the hearts for Overseer Bishop Elect Pastor Bryant Knight. Thank y'all for showing him love. I'm going to put him backstage, and I'm going to end like I always do, get y'all this 60-second motivation of power, and then we out of here. Listen, you've heard everything you've needed to hear tonight to help you get to where God really wants you to be. And oftentimes for us in life, we are just bound by so many things that can plague our mind and that can fester in our heart. This is the time to release those things that fester in our mind and clogging up our heart. God wants us to become better at the things that he has placed in our hands. He never wants you to leave where you are without the right tools to go to your next. I pray that every time you hear a conversation from this podcast, that it challenges you to step into something new, something different, and something that God has already placed in your hands. I'm your host of this podcast, Authentically You, Duane Williams Jr., and we signing out for the night. Good night, everybody. I pray that you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Good night.